Yo guys, welcome to RenderRam, my name is Diego and today we're continuing with our 3ds Max journey. I'm going to be showing you a couple of buttons that are mandatory for your everyday 3ds Max workflow. So we're going to be talking about snap, mirroring, various kind of precision buttons in Max that you can use. In general, I'm talking about these buttons here. So we're going to cover a bunch of them to kind of, get you started. First button that I'm going to be covering is the button 3. That's the snap. So what does snap do? If you just click on the snap, it will precisely move an object to a desired point. So what does that mean? You can notice that, as I hover my mouse, you can see like this yellow crosshair is kind of showing everywhere. So look at this. If I just grab this kind of dummy object, and if I just move it here, you can also notice like there's a yellow trail. It's all an indication that that's a snap. And if I move it here, it's going to perfectly snap onto that position. So now if I, for example, clone this object, you can just right click and click on the clone and just choose that you want to clone as a copy, for example. And if I move it, you can see like there's a cloned version, which I kind of cloned on the other point. One other cool thing about snapping is, for example, I got this teapot, which is kind of elevated from the ground, right? So let's say I want to snap it to this point, but I don't want the teapot to also go down to that point. I just want it to move like left and right in space. I don't want it to go down. So what you can do, activate your snap. By the way, you can just press S and it's automatically going to activate snap. It also turns it off. So look, S, 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 S. So how do you go about it? If you just kind of aim your mouse, you see like here where you have the red axes, the green axes, or X and Y. If you kind of go in the middle, you see like how both of them kind of get highlighted. So look at this. I'm just going to get both of them highlighted and I'm going to move the whole thing here. And he's actually going to move in space directly above the point that we want, but it will not get down. Another button that's super important is angle snap. So what does angle snap do? It pretty much allows you to kind of precisely rotate your object. For example, you want to rotate it by 10 degrees. So you can do like 10, 20, 30, 40, etc. Now take a look at this. Whenever I'm rotating an object, you can see like the amount of rotation that I'm doing, like 16.37, 21.35. If you kind of want to be more precise, you're going to activate angle snap toggle or just press A. So look at this. You're going to rotate 10, 20, 30, 40 degrees, like you can be super precise about it. I think the default in Max is actually 5, so but how can you adjust those defaults? Just right click here, this window will pop up, and here you can set up the angle amount. So if you set this to be 5, for example, and you just rotate, it's gonna go 5, 10, 15, 20, etc. So S for a snap, and A for angle snap. These two shortcuts I believe you will be using a lot. Next thing that's super important in Max is mirror. So you just want to kind of mirror the object, right? And mirror is this. So how do you go about it? You literally just press it, and as you can see, the teapot is instantly getting mirrored. Now you can even choose on what axes you want to mirror it. So you can choose on the Y, on the Z, XY, YZ, etc. The next button that will kind of save your ass a lot of times, and it's super useful to know where it is in Max, is the align tool. So align allows you to pretty much align one object with another object. So what does that mean? So let me just grab this, dummy point that I have here, and let's say I want to place it exactly in the center of this sphere. Where can you find the align button? It's right next to the mirror one. So it's this one. Just click on it and you're gonna notice that your mouse icon kind of changed. So what do? While this object is selected and align button is clicked, you just click on the target object. So just click on the sphere and boom, the point gets moved exactly to the center. Here you can of course choose, what kind of alignment do you want to do. And you can see now that our kind of point is exactly in the middle of the sphere. So the next button that I'm gonna be discussing, I'm actually just gonna show you the button because it has a couple of names. I don't want to bombard you with, heavy terminology over things because, it's just going to confuse you more. So I'm talking about this button here. It says use selection center. When you long press on it, you're going to see it has a couple of variations. I'm going to show you what this does and what this one does. So this one is called use selection center. This is what it does. You don't need to click it because it's pretty much activated right away. But this is the thing. If you have a couple of objects and you select all of them and you want to rotate them, all of them are going to get rotated. But what if you want to kind of rotate individually every teapot in the entire selection? Then you just long press here and go from this option to this option. So when you click on this button, so just start rotating and look at this. all the objects are kind of moving individually. And the last option that I'm gonna show you today is select and place. So what is select and place? So I got my teapots here and I got these kind of, boxes and some Taurus knot here. So look at this. Here is the select and place, this button. What happens? When you click on it, you can notice that your kind of selection is gonna move away from, the regular move, rotate, and scale. So when you click on it, look at this. If you click on the object and you just move it, look, it's gonna automatically kind of snap onto the surface of the object. Like even if you kind of move it here, it's gonna do this, you see? So let me place this teapot here, this one here, this one there, and this one is gonna go here. So this is a super nifty feature, to kind of manipulate your objects. If you just wanna, for example, make a table setting or something, and you got, 3D models of like plates, spoons, etc., you can just grab them and just, one here, 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 and you're just gonna, set up the entire table. And just one quick note about this feature. So this option is kind of heavily pivot based. So what does it mean? If you're pivot, you see like whenever I select a teapot, you can see that the pivot is right here at the bottom. And this is pretty much the guide for placing stuff. So for example, if I take this kind of, teapot, and if I, let's say, center the pivot, you see like it's centered in the center of the object. And now if I use the select and place, it will do this. You see like the teapot is gonna be synced in. Now I'm saying this because not all objects have, correctly placed pivots, but there is a way how you can kind of cheat that. So look at this. If you just right click on the select and place and you use the pillow mode here. So click on the pillow mode, and now when you move an object, it's gonna generally behave, like the pivot is correctly placed. What this pretty much does, it just takes the entire kind of surface of the object and just estimates, like where are the boundaries. The same thing with this. You see like this has a pivot like in the center. Let me just make it smaller a little bit. This. So now if I just use select and place and I move it around, you can see that I can normally place it, on top of the surface. But then if I just right click and if I turn off the pillow mode, which is default, look at this. It will automatically sync in. So yeah, just kind of be wary of that. If sometimes you are just selecting and placing things and they don't look the way they are, just consider turning the pillow mode on. And that's it for today, guys. Next time, the fight goes on. Take care and see you in the next video. Bye.